Hi, I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Welcome to my home studio. Today, we're checking out a versatile octave pedal from Boss. Let's get started. Today we're looking at the OC-5, a brand new octave pedal from Boss. Now I've been using the OC-3, the previous incarnation of their octave pedal, for a long time. I used it in my acoustic duo to add bass parts along with the chords that I was playing. And with my electric band, I use it to fatten up the sound to simulate the effect of overdub guitars like I use them on my EP. But the OC-5 takes these concepts even further. With the OC-3, we had 3 different modes we could operate in. There was standard octave mode, which gave you 1 octave and 2 octaves down. There was also drive mode, which added an aggressive overdrive to the octave below sound. And finally, we had poly mode, where the OC-3 would follow along with whatever you were playing the lowest bass note, and you could adjust the range of where that was following. With the OC-5, we have 2 different operating modes, vintage and poly. We'll begin in vintage mode, which gives us 3 octaves, actually 4 octaves if we count the original dry guitar signal, and we can blend those together using the front panel controls. So here's our dry sound. Now we can bring in an octave above. We can add an octave below. And we can add 2 octaves below. This allows us to create effects that are almost like a tone wheel organ. If we add some rotary speaker effect, it becomes even more convincing. I've got a Boss MD500 here on my pedal board with a rotary speaker patch. Our second mode is poly mode, where the OC-5 will follow right along with every note that you're playing, an octave down as well as an octave up. This allows you to really fatten up chords and again, create those organ effects if you want. So let's start by switching over to poly mode. I've got just the octave down setting on. And now we can add the octave up. Let's turn on that rotary speaker effect. But the cool thing in this mode is that we can restrict the range where the octave below follows along. This allows you to set it up so that only the bass notes of the chords you're playing follow along. You can set that range to be just the bottom strings, up through the middle strings, or wherever you want it. But the coolest setting in my mind is when you turn that knob down to the lowest setting. You're truly creating just a bass line that follows along with the chords you're playing. This works great for playing fingerstyle with, for example, a walking bass line. And again, we can add that rotary speaker effect to get an organ-like effect. Bring in some of that upper octave, and the organ effect is even more convincing. Like the OC-3, the OC-5 can be optimized for either bass or guitar. Where the OC-3 had a separate jack for bass and a separate jack for guitar, in this case we have 1 input jack and a switch to choose between the 2 instruments. We still have the dual outputs that we had on the OC-3. Normally you'd connect the output jack, which is the way I have it here, and you get a blend of the dry signal along with the affected signal. But you can split that out. Connect the direct jack out and you get just the dry signal, and in that case the output jack carries the effects signal. So you could route this to 2 separate amplifiers, for example. You could route the dry signal into a guitar amplifier and set up your bass sound coming out of the output jack into a bass amplifier. Gives you huge sounds when you use it that way. I hope you've enjoyed this look at the OC-5. It's a really versatile octave effect. Being able to choose among having 3 or really 4 octaves playing at the same time, or having a bass line following along with what you're doing, adding in that upper octave, makes it extremely versatile for creating new sounds and for creating huge sounds following along with the parts that you're playing. Thanks for joining me today. I'm Mitch Gallagher from Sweetwater. Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Click here for more videos like this, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.